What was your son's name?
His name is Samuel Olson. He just turned 6 years old on the 29th. He has a little bit of shaggy hair on top, shorter on the sides.
Yeah. And you said you could be passing out some flyers.
Yes, sir. We were all in the area.
That, yeah.
We've been in the Pasadena, LaPorte area passing out flyers. Right now, we're over here on the southwest side of Houston passing out flyers. We're going to go to the area where he was last seen, and we're going to pass out flyers. I mean, anywhere we can just hand out anything for somebody if they've seen something. I mean, any little bit of information will help.
Loving child. He's so smart. He loves dinosaurs. He can tell you which ones are herbivores and carnivores, and he puts them in the hibiscus trees and lets them eat. And he loves Buzz Lightyear and Woody and Forky. And he's got a really funny personality, and he jokes about my name because I'm his egg.
Your relationship, did he call you mom? Did he, or at least
Super Mommy. That was his choice. It wasn't forced. We didn't force him because I don't want to force that, but he used to call me Super Mommy or Teresa. It was still uncomfortable for him, because he's little, he's a kid, and he knows who his mom is, but he also knows that how much I care about him and everything that I've been doing for him and have done for him. So we're gonna find him. I know we're gonna find him.
Where do you think he could be?
Somewhere with not with us. And that's the important thing, is that he is not with us and we need to bring him back to us. So I can't say where he could be, where he might be, because honestly we don't know. At this point we don't know. All we can do is keep searching and doing, everything we've been doing, and we're going to continue to do it.
To think. So it's called question answer latency.
What do you think? Where do you think he could be?
Somewhere with...
All right, I'll go first on this one. She speaks a whole lot in the past tense about Sam. She says that was his choice. It wasn't enforced. He used to call me Super Mommy after she goes through that. It was still uncomfortable for him. And then she tries to clean that up. I think she realizes what she's done, and she plays cleanup by saying he is this, he likes this because he is just a little kid. He is. So she keeps talking. I think she's an idiot. I think we're dealing again with another idiot here. All right. Greg, what do you got?
So one of my favorite things, when the woman gives her the opportunity, she does an intake breath, looks down left, smiles, and says, "Thank you for the opportunity to chaff." And she starts. And she runs down and she starts laundry listing stuff that she says, "Well, you call me Super Mommy. Oh, yeah, here's my opportunity to be this great person." But there's a little grief muscle activity, a little concern, maybe not the grief muscle involved, but certainly, right, as you were pointed out earlier, Scott, in that glabella, that concern muscle in there. And then she goes on down the list and she starts talking too much, more than is characteristic to this point. And then she says, or Teresa, or maybe laundry lady, or, she just run down a list of things. Well, of course she called you that, or Teresa. And then she starts to have to explain why it would be Teresa instead of Super Mommy. I think she gets herself into a little spot where she thinks she needs to explain what she said. Whether it's because she realizes she used past tense, not sure she's that smart, but she certainly feels like she needs to explain. And when she starts to explain, a little bit of blink rate increase and her lips compress. And then she gets down to that push-pull stuff about we're going to find him and kind of fades off. The other interesting one for me right here with her is she cuts her eyes over to all the noise coming from her boyfriend over to the right. I think that's increasing her fight or flight, and she's realizing what's going on, and you can see her kind of going down that little hole and is starting to raise fight or flight.
Where do you think he could be?
Somewhere with
Called question answer latency.
What do you think? Where do you think he could be?
somewhere with.
So she has a lot of time there, which is indicative of deception. She says, not with us. There's immediate lip compression.
Not with us.
Or lip grip, whatever you want to call it. So the lips squeeze together there. And this is a completely nonsense answer. There's no emotion. There's mismatched baton gestures or illustrators. It's a non-answer statement. The mouth, it closes immediately after all of her statements, which...
we don't see any tears, any sign, not even a little bitty sign of any grief at all or feeling bad about what's happened. This is all fake. And what we're seeing, and here again in the globe raises, what we're hearing here are her illustrators not locking up. They're not in sync with what she's saying. And she's doing this little slap thing with her hand when she makes a point.
I can't say where he could be, where he might be. Like,
they should happen like this, but they happen like this. They happen out of sync with what she's saying.
That he is not with us and we need to bring him back to us.
That's a big red flag. We saw a lot of that with O.J. Simpson. We see stress mouth when she starts talking to her. Every time she answers something, we see that mouth get real tight and she takes a deep breath. These are almost fear cues as you're looking at them. Taking that deep breath, getting ready. Her limbic system's firing off because she's trying to protect herself, trying to think something up. I don't think she's ready for any of this. And as she goes through these, she tries to shut down the interview and the conversation by completing everything with, we're going to find him. They're going to, this is it. We're going to find him.
He is not with us and we need to bring him back to us. So, and we're going to continue to do it.
But then when she says, where do you think he could be? That's the first time we see her micro expression. And we see it in the left side of her face. Her mouth goes up just a little bit there before she starts answering. And as she goes into stress mouth, or some people call it lip grip, you see her lips disappear. That thing starts even before she does that. And then she looks like she's smiling at that point. We could say duper's delight or duping delight. That might be what it is, but I don't think she's conscious enough to be thinking it's funny or
He's got a really funny personality. And he jokes about my name because I'm his egg.
We're selling behavior on this channel, and she's selling. And I want you to pay attention to these people. Are they this is, in my opinion, absolutely honest. Greg?
I agree with you. This is one of the saddest people I've seen. This is one of the best displays of sadness I've seen. These incisivus muscles, I think if I'm calling the muscle right, there goes hollow. The eyes, look at her eyes. Her eyes are sad. They're dragging down. You can see she does something that I say many, many times. When people are crying and they're trying not to, they instinctively draw their eyes up and left. You see it all the time. A lot in women. You see it in men too occasionally. But in women, you'll see them instinctively draw their eyes up and left. That's keeping them out of this area down here nobody wants to be, all these lower areas. And you see that, again, I did this in silent first. And if you watch her, she is trying to tell happy stories about a kid in a sad time. And you can see her remembering and her rolling through her head. That chin bosses up. She's got a grief muscle. These are real tears. Her whole body is illustrating about this kid she loves as she's asking for something. And at 40 seconds, she'll see this declaration where she's talking about her egg. And that's a very emphatic thing from her. She's saying, I remember this kid. If you watch it without sound and go back and listen, all this is congruent. This is a sad person asking for help. She's telling you about the worst thing going on in her life. The message is, if this were a polygraph, all three symbols would be lined up. If this were sine waves, they would all line. This is congruent message.
All right. Here we go.
What was your son's name?
His name is Samuel Olson. He just turned 6 years old on the 29th. He has a little bit of shaggy hair on top, shorter on the sides.
Yeah. And you said you could be passing out some.
And I think we're seeing a lot of crying from shame Then we see him get more animated and excited the precise moment that he is asked a question that allows him to talk about how great he's been doing at doing this search. He's able to talk about all he's done to try to get his son back. That's when he gets animated, and that's when he gets passionate. So in my estimation, I'm very comfortable saying that this is likely deception. I will not hedge anything. Scott?
All right. I agree with you completely. And we're seeing this clapping thing he's doing as an illustrator, and they're not in sync with the words he's